The Soul Gem in Skylanders is supposed to be the last and most important upgrade a character can get, so I've been on a journey ranking every single Soul Gem on a tier list, and today is episode 3 with Skylanders Swap Force. Despite Swap Force only giving us 32 new characters, we actually have the most amount of Soul Gems at 48 because every swapper has two, one for their top half and one for the bottom half. Our first character today is going to be Boomjet, and his top half Soul Gem is called Supply Drop. It just makes it so his airstrikes have a chance to drop health supplies whenever his health is low. This is useful because sometimes you do just need that little bit of health to keep you going, and this is the one thing to just push you over, allowing you to clutch up that level. My issue with it, though, is there's a chance. It's not guaranteed. And if it was guaranteed, honestly, this is a very easy A, maybe even easy S tier. But because of the chance, I'm moving down to B tier, because to me, B tier are Soul Gems that are good, but they're missing out that one thing to make it A or S tier. And the next Soul Gem is his bottom half's called Mach 2. It just increases the speed of Mach 1 and it makes it so it does a large blast towards enemies anytime he begins his dash. His dash is one of my favorite moves. It just makes him really fun and just a really great character, and making it faster just makes it even better, and doing a large blast of damage also makes it better. For me, this is a very solid A tier Soul Gem. I don't know what you could do to make it S tier. I just don't think it is that S tier Soul Gem yet. And the next character we have is Free Ranger. His top half Soul Gem is called Storming Blades, and by pressing your primary to attack, you attack with more powerful Storm Blades that deal extra lightning damage. Extra damage is always good, it's always going to be helpful, but when it comes to a ranking, I think it's boring. They are useful, yes, but they're boring, and that's what I think C tier is for. It's either ones that are fun, but not quite good enough, or ones that are good, but kind of boring. And that's where this one lands for me. And the same goes with his bottom half called Charged Winds, and it's just when you hold your second attack to become a tornado, that tornado is now filled with lightning, dealing more damage to enemies along the way. And this is another good Soul Gem that's just boring. I wish there was more to it. And that's why I gotta give it C tier. I don't like the ones that just increase damage because it's a very easy out. And up next is Pop Thorn with to puff or not to puff. And it's while popped, speed is increased, and while puffed, armor is increased. And again, this is just another boring one, but it's not damage, so for me, that's not as useful, even though it is still pretty good. I love Pop Thorn, but I don't like this Soul Gem. So when it comes to my ranking, I'm gonna put him in D tier. Any character from the last two games that had just something that increased their armor went D tier, and I think that's fair for Pop Thorn. And unlike Pop Thorn, we have Scratch with Gem Affinity, and this just makes it so she gains health every time she picks up coins, gems, or any form of money. Easily an amazing Soul Gem. You can go from very little health to max health within seconds. This is one of the easiest S tier Soul Gems of my life. There is no debating this. But after Scratch, we have our other expensive Swap Force Skylander with Doomstone, and his top half is called Stony Stare. Hold his third attack to block, and when he blocks now, his enchanted snakes come to life, dealing damage to enemies. This is useful because his block is pretty decent, and you always love a block that reduces damage. But I don't use his block often because I'm not really using Doomstone's top half. So when it comes to ranking this, I'm honestly going to put this C tier. I think it's just missing that something to make it higher. It makes this block a little better, but I'd just rather use his primary to attack someone. I don't know, I just don't think it's that good. But after Doomstone's top half, we have his bottom half called Spin the Tables. During his fourth spin, enemies in a larger radius are damaged, so this just makes it every 4 spins, that fourth spin is even bigger and even better. And this one's really fun. This makes Stone one of my favorite bottom halves, so I'm putting this in B tier. I feel like it's missing that thing to make it A or S tier. I think B tier is perfect for this one. And now we have the other Earth Swapper with Rubble Rouser, where his top half Soul Gem is called Obsidian Skin. Rubble's skin becomes harder than stone, decreasing damage. This is just another Soul Gem that increases a character's armor. And we all know where this is going. This is going D tier. It's good, but it's boring, and this is not what I want from a Soul Gem. D tier for me is something that's just, it's fine. I'm just never going out of my way to be like, this is an amazing Soul Gem. But unlike his top half, his bottom path is called Rock Pop, and by holding 2, you drill underground, releasing a huge boulder into the sky every time you leave the ground, and it comes down, dealing damage to enemies. This is a charge-up move with no downsides because you're charging it completely protected. Very solid soul gem. The rock does a pretty decent amount of damage. I honestly think this is an easy A tier just because it allows you to avoid damage while charging up an attack that will deal a lot of damage. But after Rubble Rouser, we have Scorp with Avalanche Dash, and it's just while holding his dash, you can keep dashing as long as it's held. And this is pretty solid. This makes his dash so much better, and it makes his dash a little bit more fun because you're never worried about it running out. I think this is a very easy add to B tier. I feel like it's missing that thing to make it A because it's just increasing the length of an ability, but it's a fun ability. And after him, we have Slobbertooth with Iron Jaw. Gain an Iron Jaw, causing all head-based attacks to deal increased damage. I've said this about the other ones that just increase damage. I find it boring. So we all know where it's going. It's going into C tier. And now we are on to Fire, with our first character being Blast Zone with his top half called Bomb Party. New armor enhancements allows 2 bombs to be thrown instead of 1. This is just a fancy way of saying increasing damage, which again, I find boring. This list is based off of how fun it is, plus how useful it is. This is a very useful soul gem, but again, it's boring. So why was it a soul gem? And that's why I'm putting it in C. You can disagree with me putting ones that increase damage into C tier. I just think they're boring. I want something fun out of my soul gem. But his next soul gem for his bottom half is called Hot Feet. A fire trail is left behind while dashing that deals damage to enemies. This adds on to his dash. It is pretty fun. I don't think it's a good soul gem. Like, I don't think it's an A or an S tier, but I still think it's pretty solid. So when it comes to ranking this, it's definitely not a C tier. I think it's way more fun than just 2 bombs now. I'm going to put this in B tier. Now we're on to the next Fire Swapper with Firecracken. His top half soul gem is called Dance of the Dragons. Hold his 3rd attack to start a dragon parade, release to shoot the sparkling and explosive dragon costume at enemies. This just makes his dragon parade better. It allows you to send it out and attack enemies. I don't know. I think this, when it comes to ranking, this is a solid B tier. It just makes his dragon a little bit more useful. And after that, we have his bottom half called the Bigger One. He has a move called the Bigger One, and it just creates a huge colorful explosion that deals increased damage in a larger radius. Just another attack that increases damage. Again, they're good, but they're boring. I want to have fun with the soul gem. I don't want to just be like, okay, the character feels the exact same to play. He just has a higher time to kill. This is going in C tier. And after him, we have Frino, where pressing his 2nd attack makes Frino even more heated. Him being even more heated just makes it so he does even more damage in his heated state, and maybe it lasts a little longer. Again, this is boring. I don't like the ones that increase damage. I know I'm being kind of negative right now, but some of the soul gems get a lot better than this. It's just another one that increases damage. So there's no debate. It's going in C tier. After Frino, we have Smolder Dash with her soul gem, Smolder Dash. This is just Smolder Dash with a space, and her soul gem just makes it so every time she presses her 3rd attack, she will produce a Smolder Dash while in Eclipse mode. This is just really fun. I love characters that gain a movement ability with their soul gem. Just lots of fun. I'm going to give this S tier. It's very solid, makes her so much more fun, just increases movement. Everything about this is great. No complaints. Now on to Life Skylanders, where we have Bumble Blast with his soul gem, Bee-Pack Backpack. He gains a beehive as a backpack that automatically launches bees at nearby foes. This is useful. It just is an extra way to deal damage to enemies without you having to do anything. You just sit there, it deals damage. A very solid B tier. I think this is better than increasing damage because you're gaining free attacks by doing nothing, and I think it's a little bit cooler than damage increase. That's why I'm not putting C tier. But now onto Gorilla Drilla, where his top half is called Rings of the Golden Monkey. Arm drills become shiny, making punches do extra damage. Yay! Another one that just increases damage and does nothing fun. Do we have any doubts where this is going? That's right, straight into C tier. Our next soul gem is Gorilla Drilla's bottom half, called Adaptive Nature, and it makes it that all the plants he grows gain thorns that damage and push back enemies that step on them. This is very useful because they want to run towards your turrets and your grenades to deal damage to them, and this just gives them that added layer of protection, and it's just very useful. My first thought when seeing this was going to put it in B tier, and I kind of want to put it in A tier. I know the turrets aren't the best thing in the world, but this just helps them out so much. I think A tier feels right for this. And after Gorilla Drilla, we have Stink Bomb and its Master Star technique. Press his first attack to throw Master Stars that have a higher chance to critical hit. This isn't even increased damage. This straight up is a chance to increase damage because you'll deal more critical hits. I think this is straight up worse than just giving a character a critical hit. Giving a character increased damage. So my first thought is straight D tier. Critical hits are nice, but making it so only increase crits on your primary attack is boring and honestly worse than just dealing extra damage. Up next with Stink Bomb's bottom half, his soul gem is called Stealth Stunk. Remain invisible even after attacking enemies. This is very useful. It just allows you to keep attacking and enemies have no idea where you're coming from. I think this is another very easy and solid A tier soul gem. Now on to our last life Skylander with Zulu with Birds of Prey. Hold his first attack to summon up to 5 birds, releasing them all swooping in on an enemy, dealing devastating amount of damage. This I can finally talk about the one thing Swap Force fixed from Giants. Any character that has a charged up attack can now move while charging it up. This automatically makes them so much better than the ones from Giants because your character, while still vulnerable, is a lot less vulnerable to attacks. And his is pretty decent. It does a good amount of damage. I think this is a solid, I would say B tier, maybe C tier, but I'll think about it. Now on to Magic with Dunebug and his soul gem, Buggy Buddy. Press his second attack twice to summon a little buggy, and this bug will ride on top of his Dune Balls and will roll up nearby enemies. This is very useful. This allows you to have 2 Dune Balls at once, and this just makes it so you can just attack in way more creative ways. You can roll a character up, that guy picks him up, and you deal damage to them. For me, this is a solid A tier soul gem, but I feel like I could be convinced to put in B. I just have fun with this one. Now onto Hoot Loop with Wand of Dreams for his top half, and it's press his first attack to shoot a Deja Boom and 2 smaller Deja Boom projectiles at once. This is another creative way of saying increase attack damage. I'm putting this in C tier. I find increasing attack damage boring, even if you create a workaround that makes their weapon just shoot more projectiles. Now onto Hoot Loop's bottom half, Infinite Loop. Hold the second attack to aim the portal loop and release it under Loop's body to cause a massive attack that damages enemies in a large area. This just helps clear out a lot of room. This might take a little bit of time to do if you're not that good, but you can start to get faster at this, and since it's not a charge up attack, you can honestly repeat this a lot, and it makes them somewhat invulnerable. It gives them a few iframes. I think I want to give this B tier. I think it just leaves you vulnerable for too long to put it in A tier. I think B tier is pretty solid. And now onto Star Strike, Shooting Stars. Press 1 to rapidly shoot many sparkling star projectiles at nearby enemies. Now this might sound insane, but I am not counting this as increasing damage, because this gives her a second primary attack. Her first primary attack is very slow, and you're supposed to bounce it back and keep just bouncing it to build up damage. This gives her a projectile to attack with in between that main projectile bouncing back and forth. And because of that, I'm going to put this in A tier, because it just makes her an overall better character, giving her more ways to attack. And especially if you're not good at that rhythm thing. Now onto Trap Shadow, where his top half soul gem is called Shadow Striker, and press his first attack to rapidly do quick claw attacks, but if you hold this primary button, you can unleash a powerful shadowy dash. This is really fun. The dash just gives him a lot more fluid gameplay and allows you to do so much more. I think I'm going to put this in S tier right next to Smolder Dash. It is very similar. If I'm ranking these in any particular order, hers goes slightly above it because his takes a little bit of time to charge up, but still really good. Now onto his second half with the Soul Gem Living Shadow. Hold his second attack to prowl and become invisible. Being invisible makes you faster and enemies don't recognize where you are. This is pretty good, but definitely nowhere near as good as Stink Bombs. I'm gonna move this to B tier. I think B tier feels right for it. I don't think it's as good as Stink Bombs. But up next we have Countdown, and Countdown's Soul Gem is called Self-Destruct. Hold his second attack for a short amount of time to cause a massive amount of damage, damaging nearby enemies. This does a lot of damage and is really good, just with one very, very major downside. It leaves you vulnerable for so long. So if you do this at the wrong time and the enemy does not die, they have a good like 2-3 seconds to get to you and deal a lot of damage. And because of how vulnerable it leaves you while charging it and after you do it, I unfortunately have to put this F tier. It's pretty good in some of the lower difficulties, but as someone who mainly plays on hard and nightmare, this just leaves you too vulnerable. And after that, we have Magna Charge with his top half called Multi-Barreled, and this just makes it so his magnetic cannon shoot 3 projectiles at once instead of 1. And this is another fancy way of saying increased damage. So we all know this is going C tier. And his bottom half is called Super Repulsors. A new wheel makes thrown objects gain increased damage, range, and speed. Just another fancy way of saying when you attack with his bottom half to throw enemies, you increase damage. Because of that, I have to go with C tier again. I love them. These are 2 amazing upgrades. They just shouldn't be soul gems. These should be your upgrade right before you go to your upgrade paths, and I find dealing damage boring. And after that, we have Spy Rise with a spy with a golden hand. Gain a new blaster that shoots 5 projectiles at once. Another very fancy way of saying dealing extra damage without saying dealing extra damage. This just increases his damage stat. We all know where this is going. This is going C tier. After that, we got Spy Rise's bottom half called Omega Sky Laser. Hold his primary attack while in the sky to shoot down a massive laser that stuns enemies. This takes a great move and makes it a perfect move. This just allows you to deal damage and stun enemies without any risk to you. Easily one of the best soul gems of all time. We all know where this is going. This is one of the easiest S tiers of my life. Up next is Wind Up with Spring-Loaded Crank. It just increases his speed and automatically winds him up while running. Wind Up's biggest downside, which isn't really a downside, is that you have to wind up to keep attacking, but this winding up deals damage. This just makes him a little bit better because you don't have to constantly think about, well, I need to wind up now, or oops, I'm not attacking because I'm not wind up. It just allows you to make sure you're always at that full charge every time you go into a new battle. And because of that, I'm going to put this B tier because it's solid, but it's more of a quality of life thing than a game changer thing, but it's not increasing damage, which I like. And after that, we have Grim Creeper with Help from Beyond. A ghost ally appears from the defeated enemies and will seek out and attack other enemies for you. This is exactly just like Grim Creeper's Soul Gem. And these are a one-time attack where they'll attack, and after they attack, they'll do like 70 damage and then disappear. And this is useful. It's just allowing you to deal more damage, but it's in a more creative way than just increasing his attack stat or giving him a way to just attack with 2 weapons instead of 1. Because of that, I'm going to put this B tier. I don't think it has what it needs to be A tier, but it is still very, very solid. And after that, we have our first undead swapper with Night Shift, where his top half soul gem is called Gently, and all attacks do increased damage at full health. So this is just increasing your damage stat while only at full health, and because it is so easy to take damage in Swap Force that sometimes you're not always at full health. He does have lifesteal, which helps him stay at full health. But because of that, I'm going to put it in D tier. It's just a worse increasing attack stats. compared to everyone else's. Night Shift's bottom half soul gem is called Grand Entrance, and it just slows down nearby enemies when appearing after a teleport. This is useful, it leaves your enemies very vulnerable, they cannot run away from you. Very helpful in a lot of situations, and his bottom half is already one of the best bottom halves in the games, but we're not ranking based off the fact it gives you respawns. Because of that, I'm going to go and put this in B tier. And up next we have Rattleshake, where his top half is called Rise of the Snakes, and the bottom half is called the Snakeskin Kid. I'm doing these at the exact same time because it's basically the same one. These ones give you a layer skin that just absorbs damage once, disappears, and will come back after a few seconds. It's pretty fast. His top half just increases critical hits, and the bottom half increases speed. And it just gives you more armor on both. But we know where this will go. This is a D tier soul gem because it just increases armor. And that's not a fun soul gem. Does it change the way he looks? Yes, but because of that, he kind of ruins Quick Draw Rattleshake if you have him. Now onto Roller Brawl with her soul gem, Cursed Helmet. Press her second attack while dashing to headbutt enemy and create a cursed link. If you touched an enemy with a cursed link, they will take damage. So you don't have to attack them to deal damage, you just have to touch them. And her dash is already one of her funnest moves. I love any character that can dash and just be quick and speedy, and this makes her dash so much better because it just makes her a lot stronger, and it really can mess up certain enemies because you just have to walk next to them and they're taking damage. And because of how fun this is, and it just makes one of her fun moves even better, I feel like this is a very easy A tier. Now onto Freeze Blade, where his top half is called Winter Chakram. Chakrams have increased critical hit and do extra frost damage. Just another fancy way of saying increasing damage, so another C tier. Onto his bottom half, we have Iceberg Endurance. Dashing does increase damage and does not stop when attacked. So this is increasing his damage, but I'm not going to put it in C tier because you can keep going after being hit. This just gives him a lot more fluid and a way more fun gameplay. And because of that, it's going in B tier. I think it's very solid and overall just a great upgrade. Up next is Punk Shot with her soul gem, Electrocute, and hold her first attack to charge a powerful crossbow attack that releases and shoots enemies all around you. This was fun while I was testing it out, but I realized it just does less damage than their primary, so I was thinking, when would I ever actually use this? It leaves you vulnerable for a bit when I could just be attacking enemies and doing a higher DPS anyway, and because of that, I'm putting it in F tier. Because there's only downsides to using this when you can just use her other attacks and finish off enemies so much faster. Now after that, we have Riptide with Reinventing the Whale. Angry fish explodes outside the whale spout, seeking out and damaging nearby enemies. I know this one is kind of like just makes one attack deal extra damage, but it's also slightly better than that because when you slam that fish and the enemy dies, those fish that explode out will go towards other enemies instead of just wasting the extra damage if it already kills the enemy. And because of that, I'm gonna put this in B tier. I don't think it's A tier worthy, but it's still pretty good. On to our last character, Washbuckler, with his soul gem On the Stormy Seas. Hold his first attack to charge Blade Steel even further. Release to summon a watery pirate ship that rams into enemies. This is a pretty good soul gem. It does about 150 damage. I think you can walk around while also doing it, so you're not as vulnerable as the characters in Giants who can charge up. But still, it takes quite a while to charge up, which is the downside, but it does do a lot of damage. I think that kind of balances each other out. I'm gonna put it in B tier. I think it's pretty solid and pretty good. On to our last soul gem for Washbuckler's bottom half, called Tentacle Carousel. Press the second attack to rapidly perform a spin attack that damages all nearby enemies. This one is just really fun. It does one thing and one thing well, and that's being fun. And that's what I enjoy about this soul gem. Is it perfect? No. I just have so much fun with it. Every time I play as Washbuckler, or every time I have his bottom half, I am spamming this attack because it is so fun. And because of how fun it is, and it is somewhat useful, I think this is a very solid A tier soul gem. I love this one. You could argue it could be lower. I might agree with you, but I just have too much fun to put it any lower than this. After taking some time to think about this list and to see if there's anything I want to move around, there's only one soul gem I can think that I actually want to change, and that's stink bombs. Being invisible and still being able to attack is honestly overpowered, and no other Skylander can do that, so it is very unique just to him, and because of that, I'm moving it to S tier, because it just takes his gameplay to a higher level, makes him way more fun, and is just a very strong, very useful soul gem. And here's what it looks like with the Giants and Spyro's Adventure soul gems. We did double the amount of soul gems we have because of these swapper halves, and this does feel pretty good for where it is. I'm ranking these based off of them in their game. If it was all in the same game, some of these could move up, some of these definitely would move down, and I am pretty happy where the tier list is at this point in time. But if you have any ones you think should be higher or lower, let me know in the comments below. I'm open to any ideas. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I did just want to let you know I have finally opened up memberships on my YouTube channel. If you do choose to become a member, you'll unlock a special role within my Discord server that will give you access to a member-only chat, and the highest tier, I will make a custom video naming one of my 50 whirlwinds after you, and you'll get to pick what hat it wears. But again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.